Good afternoon. It's Revolver today. We're going to go back to the Beatles for a bit, I think. And then after that, I was thinking maybe Cold Fact by Rodriguez. Kind of niche, but there's a lot to talk about on that album. A lot of good songs. But we'll talk about that when we're doing it. It's Revolver today. So a little bit of background on this one. Very experimental album. I know they experimented a lot in the studio with different techniques, especially backwards guitar, which we'll hear a bit of. You got George Harrison running in with sort of Indian influenced music. He's been learning the guitar off Ravi Shankar. He's met at this point as well. It's just a lot of cool stuff going on, and we'll go back to the timbre of the album quite a bit. There's a certain sound to this album that's quite unique. And it kind of saves some of the songs from feeling out of place, if you can follow what I'm saying there. Like, because the timbre across the whole album is very, very sort of in sync, some of the songs that might have felt out of place actually don't at all feel out of place. It's really good production on this album as well. Right, so got Lucozade at hand. I just went to the shop then to get some fresh Lucozades, waiting for that Lucozade sponsorship deal to come in, because I've been pushing that on this channel. No one from PR has got hold of me. Don't know what's going on there, but I went to the shop, right, and I was walking past. They put all the beer at the tills, don't they, or they pile some of the beer up at the tills in some shops to sort of make you buy it. And I did, I fell for it, and I saw a 12-pack of Heineken Silver, and I thought, oh, well, I'll get some of that. I might not drink it tonight. It's just kind of have in the fridge if I want to drink it. And I got back and nearly had heart failure, because I was looking at the box as I was putting it in the fridge, and I couldn't see a percentage on it. Hold on a minute. Now, I've done this before. I remember going for a drink ages ago with one of my ex-girlfriends, and I went to the shop to get a small beer and went and bought fucking non-alcoholic beer like an idiot, and it was quite expensive as well. And I thought I'd done the same thing, and I was so angry, so I sort of ripped the box open and got a bottle out, and look at it, it's 4%, which is good. I'm not drinking any non-alcoholic beer. I don't see the point in non-alcoholic. It doesn't even taste that nice. It's just like, I don't even know, just like carbonated. It's just like a weird, not very nice carbonated water. But you put an alcohol percentage in it, and it's all good. It's better. But getting off point within Revolver. So let's do the first song. What is the first song? First song is Taxman. Right, Taxman. What have I done here? It's Hector, the tax collector. I don't know. It's filler, I think. Let me try and explain myself. Taxman. Right, so the riff is cool. It's very catchy. And then the bass is really good. Paul does a smart bass, so he follows the main riff, but just an octave lower on the bass for the first half. Anyway, he's just going boom, 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 boom. But then after the first chorus into the second verse or second set of verses, he changes up the bass a bit and adds a bit more inflection to it and different sort of trills, and it's like boom, 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 and it's really cool. But, we all know that Paul's good on bass, but yeah, it's a cool song. By the way, the picture, Hector the Tax Inspector. When I was thinking of finding the picture for Taxman, it just instantly this image popped into my head of this cartoon. I didn't even know why. I just thought, right, well, what is this then? So I was putting in all sorts into Google, and it turns out this guy's called Hector the Tax Inspector, and he was like the image or the logo for HMRC in Britain for a few years in the 90s. And it's just funny that would pop to my head. I would have only been between the ages of like 7 and 8 or something when he was on TV, and yet I sort of already knew it was something to do with tax. Hector the Tax Collector. You just imagine me at 8 o'clock like, oh, that's Hector the tax collector up there. But yeah, we were saying about the actual song. Right, okay, so I think it's catchy, and I think it's cool, and I think it's a good opener as well, because it's got good energy, brings you into the album well, and it's a good in-between from Rubber Soul to this album, because this album's got a lot of experimentation on it and a lot of different things going on it. And this song is kind of like, feels like it could fit on Rubber Soul, and also feels like it can fit on this. So it's that nice in between. So it's a good sort of transition. However, what I don't like about the song is that it's essentially rich people moaning about having their money taken away from them, which it won't even be like that much of an issue. I try to put this away the right way. So like I pay taxes, and I get bummed by the taxman, but at least I understand that it's going towards something. You know, it's towards the county, keeping the hospitals up and running, keeping I don't know, like filling in potholes in the roads and just infrastructure in general. But if I was making £1 million a year, not to say that the Beatles were, they're probably making much more. If I was making £1 million a year and the taxman took 400,000 of that away from me, I don't think I'd care. I'd be more than happy to pay that and still have £600,000 in the bank. It's still a lot of money that I can do a lot of stuff with. You know, but I just don't like the idea that although it's a relatable song, I guess, for people, it's like, yeah, man, the taxman's a dickhead. It's still like, yeah, but you're making like, I don't know, £10 million each a year. I mean, whenever you release a new album, it's straight to #1, and like everyone in every country buys it. So it's not like you're void of money. Maybe I need to call Paul McCartney and ask for like his tax records or something, so I can see what the actual deal is with that. But I just can't imagine that they would have been left penniless or struggling. So I think that's probably the reason I put it in filler more than anything, is that I just don't like rich people moaning that they don't have money. But that's just an opinion. That's just an opinion on that one. I mean, it's still a catchy, like, fun song. But yeah, it's filler. I think there's a lot more better songs on this album. And we'll move to one now. We'll move to Eleanor Rigby, which is certified slaps. Where is Eleanor Rigby? It's this picture here. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice by the church where the wedding has been. I'll have to show you this picture because it's awesome. Look at that. This is a little illustration I found of Eleanor Rigby, and I thought it was a really cool picture, to be fair. Because when I was putting it into Google, I was just getting pictures of gravestones with a name on it. I thought that's a bit like dark. I'll just go with a sort of, you know, harrowing image of her instead. But yeah, smart little piece of illustration. I'd like to know who drew that. Eleanor Rigby's well good. So this one, I mean, I feel like this is where the album actually begins with this song, because it's really unique, isn't it? You've got the instrumentation, the orchestration, should I call that actually, is well good. So it's like there's no guitar, there's no drums, there's no piano, it's just straight strings and Paul singing, and it's great. Well, I think the other Beatles do a bit of backing on it, but it's mainly Paul. I just love the song. It's really cool. We'll get the lyrics up for Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby. I have to say that, otherwise I'll certainly spell it wrong. Eleanor Rigby lives in a dream. I never got the wearing a face that she keeps in a jar by the door line. Sounds cool, doesn't it? But I never really understood it. I think at first Paul McCartney wanted to call Father Mackenzie Father McCartney. But I don't know whether it was one of the other Beatles talked him out of it, or whether he came to his own senses. Because he thought it would, like, people would think he was talking about his dad or something. But I think Beatles fans would have just thought it was another weird Paul is the Walrus or something weird like that. Like it's some sort of hidden code about Beatles lore. You know, Father McCartney, and Eleanor Rigby is actually George Harrison in a wig and stuff like that. It's just nonsense. So he probably did a good thing by avoiding that. Eleanor Rigby died in a church and was buried along with her name. Nobody came. And it's just a really sort of... I like the song because the lyrics aren't particularly like... There's nothing to really take from it. It's just a story about a woman called Eleanor Rigby who's sort of in and out of these different... situations and in and out of these different narratives. She just seems to be somewhere in these stories, and it's just a really nice song. Really sort of like, I don't know whether you'd call it, is it avant-garde? I don't think the word's avant-garde. I've called some of George's songs this, and I can't remember what it is. When you take classical elements and put them in sort of a pop structure or frame it in a pop way. Baroque, maybe it's Baroque. I'm not sure. I wouldn't maybe not put Baroque to this, but One of my friends tells me that this is one of the most covered songs. I'm gonna check that out. Most covered songs of all time. Let's just see if that's right. Probably not. Yeah, I thought it was Yesterday as well. No, it is Yesterday, friend. I know Eleanor Rigby would have been covered a lot, but yeah, certainly Yesterday is kind of like, it's so, I was going to say easy. It's not easy, but it's worthy of covering like as much as you can. Yeah, Eleanor Rigby is really cool. Just George Martin again. It's probably him. Probably I should have done my research really, but I can more than likely George Martin was the guy who was like, we should do strings to this one like we did with Yesterday, Paul. As the story goes as well, that Paul, when he wrote Yesterday, he wasn't particularly arsed about having strings and stuff in it. He just wanted it to be a little sort of Bob Dylan-esque little acoustic thing that was a minute and a half. But George Martin was like, nah, just add strings to it. It'll add so much levity, and it does. It really does. It makes the song like 10 times better. Yeah, and I can imagine Paul going off the back of that and going to George, I got this song, but let's do your string magicking on that again, for sure. And it works so well. It's such a good song. You get proper pulled into it. But yeah, I think that's my piece on that song. It's real cool. I'm only sleeping. I'm only sleeping. Bum 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 ba-doom. Da 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 da. Keep in mind, that banger territory. Yeah, for sure. It's a really cool song, isn't it? John, this one I think, isn't it? Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I always thought when I listened to it was like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a spiritual song, maybe about some sort of religious thing, out of body experience. But when I was doing my research this morning, it was like to Paul's recollection, or what he's recalling, was that no, John just liked sleeping. Like whenever we weren't writing or hanging out or whatever, he'd just be asleep usually. Which I think's well funny. Just John really likes night-ins. That's as simple as that. And he just wrote a song about it. But the lyrics on this one are cool as well. Most covered songs of all time. So keeping an eye on I'm only sleeping. The lyrics. Taking my time. Yeah, there's a little bit of backwards guitar on this. I think this is the first song that has a little bit of backwards guitar, unless Taxman has it. Taxman has a really cool solo. I just don't know if it's backwards. We'll get to that though. The backwards guitar stuff is really cool in this album. Yeah, I just like the way this one moves. Stay in bed, float upstream, do do do. Oh, please don't wake me, no, ha ha ha. Shake me, leave me where I am. I'm only sleeping. Do 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 do. Yeah, really smart. So I carried away with singing it. I did a cover of this as well when I was so much younger. It was when I was starting to, when I was really starting to record. When I was about, would have been like 20, 21 maybe. And I was starting to record on the phone. On the iPhone, which had the rec tools thing. I'll have to go into this one day in detail, so you know what my recording setup was. But yeah, I started recording sort of covers and then writing a bit of my own stuff. I was tentatively writing my own stuff. I did a cover of this, and I found it earlier when I reminded myself earlier about it, and it is here. It does actually exist. I thought it was on like the where is it? I'm Only Sleeping. I thought it was just in the darkest annals of the internet, but it actually exists on my computer. And this is going to be like over 10 years old now. 2012. Yeah, it'll be around 10 to 11 years old now. That's crazy. I will listen to that later. I'm Only Sleeping's good, isn't it? It's got a good movement to it. And it's just a simple little thing like, when I'm in the middle of a dream, stay in bed, float upstream, float upstream. It's like a nice little bit of phrasing in it as well. Yeah, I like it. I like that one. I think it does belong in banger. You tell you what, though, the next one belongs absolutely in slaps. This Love You Too is well good. So it's like George has just come out and gone, hey, you know what we're going to do? Just do a completely Indian-inspired piece. And it literally owes nothing to pop music. It's not trying in any way to be a pop song, which I think is well cool. And it's a really, like, I guess you'd call it a risk, wouldn't you? As the Beatles, he's sort of, your Rubber Soul album was kind of like amazing and a step away from what people were used to. So there's like expectations on this album, and you go ahead and just throw a completely unique Indian piece of music in. It's dead smart. And obviously, at this point, George Harrison and Ravi Shankar, was being taught how to play the sitar and stuff like that. Now, this isn't the first inclusion of sitar on a Beatles record. That was what song is it? Norwegian Word. There's a little sitar solo in that, but it's just creeping in a little bit of sitar there. This song's just a full-on sitar piece, and it's so cool. Did I get the lyrics up? Yeah. Each day just goes so fast. I love the way the vocals work in this. It's weird dissonance to it. You don't get time to hang a sign on me. Well, I can't do it because I want to show you both lines. Tell you what, I'll do that now, and then I'll edit a second vocal into it afterwards. So, I turn around, it's past. Well, try not to do the instruments as well at the same time. 1, 2, 3. You don't get time to hang a sign on me. Okay, and that now should have a second vocal or a second and a third vocal behind it, just to show you sort of the dissonance between. Really cool line. A lifetime is so short and you one can be bored. But what you've got... I'm not going to do another one. But, yeah, the drones in this as well. A lifetime is so... And these drones come in the background. It's so, like, heavy. It feels so cool. But, yeah, like I was saying before, it could have been a risk. If George wasn't, like, super in to the Indian music, he was just kind of, like, messing with it and liked it a bit, it could have gone real wrong. It could have just been, like, a rubbish song that's, uninspired, but... He's obviously really into the, not only the Indian music, but sort of the, what would you call it? The spirituality side of it and the meditation and with the lyrics and that. It's really cool. Really cool. Like philosophy and stuff. Man, that makes me sound so dumb, like, like philosophy and stuff. Philosophical thoughts and stuff like that. And he's, kind of vague with these lyrics. So it comes across real well. Really good song. And he does it again. He does it again on Sgt. Pepper. I can't remember to what extent it's an Indian song, but I feel like it's the same as this, almost. Just complete, full Indian instrumentation. Using the sort of correct structures and stuff like that. Really cool. Really like that one. George is just good, man. I mean, stop a minute again and speak about George. It's like... I was thinking this before because we were talking about on the Abbey Road one, how George writes some of the best songs on that album. And I just think it's incredible that even back now in Revolver, we've got the White Album coming up as well, where he's still, coming through now. Well, he's not still, I guess, but he's starting to really push through the Lennon-McCartney barrier and make his own songs stand against them, really. I mean, he gets 3 songs on this. Before this album, he was only ever allowed 2. And he wouldn't always even fill those 2 slots. But, he's getting at a point now where his creative juices are flowing and he's doing 3 songs on an album. Does he do 3 on Abbey Road? I don't think so. I think he does 2 on Abbey Road. But, yeah, it's cool that he got to have 3 on this. And all 3 of them, well, Taxman's catchy, but I just don't like the idea of it. But, Love You Too. And the other one is, what's it called? It's near the end, isn't it? It's I Want to Tell You sounds real good. But yeah, let's Love You Too. I think it's a bit of a risk to do it, but I just imagine being a Beatles fan when this album came out. They go, oh, Eleanor Rigby's really good. Oh, I'm Only Sleeping was quite trippy. And then suddenly you've got this massive Indian song you just don't expect the Beatles to be doing at all. It's so smart, really cool. Next one. Here, There and Everywhere. That's one I wanted to play. One I was going to play. We'll give it a go. So I'm cutting out sort of half of the song because I don't want it to drag, so that's why I've put it like this, but really small, really hard to read. But we'll give it a go. I'll turn this down a little bit. To lead a better life, I need my love to be here. Here. Making each day of the year. Changing my life with the wave of a hand. Nobody can deny that there's something there. Running my hands through her hair. Both of us thinking how good it can be. Someone is speaking, but she doesn't know he's there. I want her everywhere, and if she's beside me, I know I need never care. But to love her is to need her everywhere, knowing that love is to share. Each one believing that love never dies, watching her eyes and hoping I'm always there. I will be there and everywhere. Yeah, there and everywhere. Yeah, it's really nice that. So like, there's one note in that I just don't get, which is vocally. I mean, is the when love never dies, watching her eyes and hoping I'm always there. I just don't know how that note goes. Always is the word I just don't get, and I might have nailed it in there. I'm not sure now, but probably not. But yeah, I mean, the only way I could do this song was by transposing it and putting capos on and stuff. The chord progression's so difficult in different ways. This is the easiest version of the chord progression I could see, really. I think, because like the C the C sharp minors and the F sharp minors really aren't that hard to do, and then obviously the E's and the A's are all right. But like, just getting off point. Okay, so Here, There, and Everywhere. What a banger! What an absolute banger. I think I've probably turned this down a little too low. Turn it back up a bit. Wait, did I? There we go. But yeah, Here, There, and Everywhere is an absolute banger. It's really good. One of the best sort of Beatles love songs. I say this about one of George Harrison's songs on Abbey Road. Spoiler, but yeah, it really is one of the best Beatles love songs. It's one of the best Beatles songs, really. It's got such the backing vocals. Ooh, you know, it's got this lovely ooze. I was going to say ooze and ahs, but it's just ooze in the background. And what I love is it's inspired by God Only Knows. So there's to and fro now between the Beach Boys and the Beatles, is that Rubber Soul inspired Brian Wilson to do Pet Sounds, in which he wrote God Only Knows. And then Paul McCartney was inspired by God Only Knows, which is just amazing, isn't it? That you've got Paul inspiring Brian to make something, and then in turn, Brian, whatever Brian's made, has inspired Paul to do something else. I just love that. It's just such a unique thing to happen. You know, so he's almost inspired himself via sort of inspiring others. It's really, really cool little factoid there. But great, it's just a lovely song, isn't it? It's lovely. And again, this is one of the ones I was talking about where, because it's such an experimental album in some ways, that a song like this, which is so like classic Beatles, would maybe feel a little bit out of place, but it doesn't, because the timbre of the song keeps it right where it needs to be, and it does feel you know, in place, you know, straight after Love You Too as well, which is this massive Indian inspired piece. You go into this very classic Beatles piece, and really cool. Just a really cool song. Yellow Submarine. I haven't even put it on. This is the picture for it. I think that's got to be... I almost want to put it above. I will put it above Eleanor Rigby just because it's so Beatles. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yellow Submarine is also a slaps. We've got a lot of slaps on this album. It's a really good album. Yellow Submarine. We all live in the Yellow Submarine. I love that Ringo, towards the end of the Beatles' career, gets to sing some really good songs. Does he sing anything on Let It Be? That's not Let It Be. No, yeah, Let It Be. Let It Be album. There's really something I should probably know, but we'll check it out. So, it doesn't look like he sings anything on this. He definitely doesn't sing Dig It. Does he sing Dig It? Oh, it's only a 50-second piece anyway, so it doesn't matter. The long and winding road. We'll have to do Let It Be at some point, won't we? But yeah, Yellow Submarine's really cool. So the idea again, it's another Paul. Paul's really good on this album. Paul wanted to write a little song. He had a song in mind for Ringo. They're at the point now where they're like, all right, let's write Ringo's song then. And in this instance, he wanted to write sort of a children's style theme song that they could sing to. I've read anyway, and this is how it came out. And I think John Lennon said, yeah, it was mainly Paul's sort of child, this song. I didn't really have too much to do with it, and Ringo gets to sing it. And he's got such a nice voice for these sort of things. Same with Octopus's Garden, it really works. I'd like to be, and then on this one, we all live in the yellow. It's like quite an animated voice, hasn't he? It works on this one. There's really cool sound effects and stuff, like the sound collage. Would you call it? I don't think you'd call it musique concrète, but you know, just these little bits of sound, creating the sound of sort of a pier and ships and clinking glasses and scenario that they're in that comes in halfway through the song, which is really cool. And it's just great. Like, part of the reading I did suggested that the song was sort of recorded, or the basis for the song was recorded in one session, and then they actually just took a session out to sit with a couple of their friends. They brought a couple of friends in, and they just made all these different sounds that they were going to put in the song, and did the chanting where everyone's like, we all live in the year. It really sounds really cool. It's really good. And I like it. Yeah, I think it's a great song. We haven't missed one, have we? No, I keep thinking She Said's a lot earlier than it is. No, I can see it's just after this one, actually. Unbelievable. But I love it. I think it slaps. It's in the same kind of, style as sort of an Octopus's Garden thing. You know, you've got all these different bits and bobs of non-instruments coming in to create a soundscape, but you've also got really catchy, fun song about nothing in particular, just like this made up little narrative. It's smart. It's really cool. I like Yellow Submarine. Everyone knows sort of the Yellow Submarine as well. She said so interesting, and I think it's banger, and I think it's top banger. Right, so the story, as it goes, is that the Beatles were at a party doing LSD. And what's funny about it is that, to just defer slightly off the song, is that John and George were the first one taking LSD, during this period. They were the ones that sort of decided to do it. And they pull Ringo into it quite easily, They're saying, this LSD stuff's like awesome, man. Like, we're coming up with some crazy stuff on LSD, and Ringo's like, oh, all right then, and he does it. Paul apparently was really hard to crack. It's like, that's good. He's a moral of the story, moral centre of the band. And he was saying, you got to take this LSD with us, and Paul was like, no, drugs are bad. I'm not doing anything like that. Naughty. And it's to the point where Paul and George basically peer pressured him into it. They said, well, Paul, we can't really keep doing stuff with you then, with the band and that, and writing with you, because we're not on the same wavelength anymore, man. Like, we've opened our minds, dude. And he just really, it was kind of like cornered into just being like, okay, I guess then if I can continue to be in the band, I have to take LSD then, I guess. So he ended up cracking. I think he did start taking it. But yeah, John and George were like, no, minds are completely different now. We're at a heightened sense now, and you're just not on our level, Paul. Funny. Peer pressured him into it, bullied him. Paul's the bully on the White Album, but it's only because he was bullied on this album. That's as much as I'm going to say. So, Peter Fonda was at this party, and we were all taking LSD and hanging out and, throwing ideas around. Peter Fonda was a screenwriter and an actor, I think, at the time, that had been dead briefly when he was younger. He'd either been shot or something. I think he was shot, because I'm sure I read something he was showing his bullet wound off. But he'd been shot. We'll go with that. We do spread the misinformation on this channel now. He got shot when he was younger and was briefly dead for 5 to 10 minutes before he was resuscitated. So at the party, when they're all taking these heavy drugs and hallucinating, he starts saying, "Oh, I know what it's like to be dead." Which is, I guess, it's kind of like, wouldn't say cool, but it's provocative, isn't it? It's a provocative thought. And yeah, you're at a party and this guy says, I nearly died, or I have been dead, so I know what it feels like to be dead. And you go, right, okay, say it once, fair enough. It's a thought, it's a thing that we can mull over momentarily, and then we'll move on. Apparently this Peter Fonda wouldn't shut up about it. He was obviously on some sort of trip, or a bit too high, and thought it was a bit more, I don't know, a bit more spectacular than it was, and he was running around the party, like literally telling everyone, to the point where John Lennon was like, we need to get this guy out. He went up to him and said, "Can you leave the party, man? You're freaking everyone out. You're being weirdo." Yeah, it's a really funny story. I've been at parties where there's like a weirdo at the party who's just bringing everyone's vibe down. So it's cool that John sort of stood up and said, "Hey, get out, you're ruining everyone's fun." Yeah, we'll get the lyrics up for that. That's pretty much what the story is, and this one was written by John. This is John. I was going to put John Peter Fonda in. John Fonda. Why am I writing John? She said, "Do I know what it's like?" Nah, not that. Certainly not that song. She came in through the bathroom window. Diddle 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 diddle. Why don't we do it in the road? That's a terrible song. She said. So he obviously changed it to she to maybe like hide his identity. Or maybe to make it feel like it's some sort of love song. She said, "I know what it's like to be dead. Doodle doodle doodle. I know what it's like to be sad." And this is apparently what he actually said to this Peter Fonda. He said, "You need to shut up because you're making me feel like I've never been born." This is a funny little line, isn't it? "Because you're making me feel like I've never been born." And then, I really like this actually. Now I'm looking at it. He's rhyming the verses back on themselves. "I know what it's like to be dead. I said, who put all those things in your head? Things that make me feel that I'm mad. I know what it is to be sad." It's really cool, isn't it? "I said, no, 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 you're wrong." And they do a lot of this, like just this little bit here I'm thinking of. "I said, no, 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 you're wrong." Like these sort of lazy, lackadaisical movements with the vocals. So you've got it in this one, the "no, no, no." I'm trying to think, there are more songs for sure that have it. "I'm Only Sleeping's got a few sort of lackadaisical bits. There's a George Harrison one later. Is it at the end of the album? It's the "I want to tell you." Can't remember which one it is, but yeah, there's this sort of, there is a bit of a motif through the album where they do these sort of downward spirally vocal bits that sound really cool. Don't know how much to describe that any more than I am. I really have the vocabulary required to do so. But yeah, "She Said," banger, really catchy, really cool, sort of effective lyrics, and it's really fun. It sounds more than what it actually is. The story is the story, but the song, it transcends the story. It makes it sound a lot more deep, and it makes it sound almost spiritual. Spiritual? That's a word, isn't it? Spiritual. Yeah, for sure. Moving on. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day. That's enough of that. So that's Paul McCartney's attempt. He's not trying to copy, but he liked the song "Daydream" by the Loving Spoonful, which is like it's like a jaunty guitar, bounce, 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 bounce. What a day for a daydream, bounce, bounce, bounce. You would have heard that. It's really cool. But Paul just really liked it, so he was like, "Oh man, I'll do a song in that style," which is cool. And he came up with this. Now, Good Day Sunshine's really sort of a nothing song, really. It's just pretty simple lyric. Good day sunshine, good day sunshine. And there's not much in terms of like experimentation with instruments. It is just a basic sort of band setup: guitar, bass, drums. I mean, it's just a catchy little song. I feel good, in a special way. But I'm in love and it's a sunny day. Yeah, I just like nice little fun song. And I was thinking before is that sometimes I go way overboard in describing why, and why I don't think it's as good as it is, or why I think it's as good as it is. For this one, I'm just going to pop it in filler and say I don't think it holds up to the rest. It doesn't hold up to Yellow Submarine or She Said or Love You Too. It's just a pretty simple song. Could have fit on Rubber Soul quite simply. And it's the same with And Your Bird Can Sing. Although I think that's more fun than Taxman. But I think that works as like probably going to be the filler territory as it stands. Maybe even Dr. Robert can go in there, but who knows. But yeah, And Your Bird Can Sing is directly after it, isn't it? And even John himself says it's kind of a throwaway. How does the riff go again? And your bird can sing, but you don't get me. You don't get really cool. But I think the anthology version of this is actually like more fun. It sounds more like kind of like Americana rocky, like something like the Byrds would do or something like that. Or trying to think of another band in that sort of the Eagles or something. The version on the anthology, and it's fun, and they're just laughing through it on that. But yeah, I think the song fits the album for sure, but it just keeps it moving along in the same way that Good Day Sunshine does. I don't think either of those are particularly great. Not that I'd like to just follow that up with, not that I could write a better song. I don't think that I could have wrote a better song than that, but to the quality of these songs, like Here, There and Everywhere, Eleanor Rigby, Love You Too, it's not as good, are they? They're just sort of standards. Again, all three of these would have been awesome on Rubber Soul, which is maybe not the right way to be considering it. Maybe And Your Bird Can Sing can go up there, because it is kind of like fun. I'll be round, tell me everything, do. And your bird can sing, but you don't get me. But yeah, I'm not going to put too much more explanation on those because I just don't think they're as good. But I will put And Your Bird Can Sing in banger because it is a banger. Every time it comes on, I do enjoy it. For No One. Now, For No One is really good. Probably top banger. Top banger, yeah. I think that's right. We'll get the lyrics up because the lyrics are really good for this one. You don't get me for no one. And that's a really cool. Sometimes you just you come up with such a good name for a song, and this is one of those. When you oh dear, I didn't mean to do that. When you see For No One, I just think that's a really like clever song title. Trying to think of some of my cleverest. I think Talking for Two, well, songs that I've done, Talking for Two is quite a good song title. Also, Obliviously, I think that is a good song title. I'm not going to link those below, there's no point, because it has no actual relevance to this. But yeah, I think when you come up with like just a clever song title, And Your Bird Can Sing is kind of a cool song title, but For No One just sounds like really cool. It's interesting, isn't it? This song, though, I chose that image because I feel like that's what it's about. I don't think you need to actually read into it that much to understand it. It's just kind of he's having an argument or he's breaking up with his girlfriend. Your day breaks, your mind aches, you find that all her words of kindness linger on when she no longer needs you. And in her eyes you see nothing. That's where the piano comes in. It's like disjointed. Doodle-doodle-doodle. No sign of love behind the tears cried for no one. A love that should have lasted years. Do-do. You want her, you need her, and yet you don't believe her when she says her love is dead. You think she needs you. You know, it's this kind of like inner turmoil, isn't it, about this girl leaving, whether he actually wants her to go or not, and how he feels about it. And it's really like, striking little song, isn't it? Paul McCartney's really good on it. No, it slaps, this song. It makes you feel something, doesn't it? I think it's better than the other Submarine. But it's a really well-written song about sort of one of those moments where you're kind of torn up a little bit. And I love the end as well. This is the one with the French horn, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, the French horn is so cool. Really adds to it, because it's basically just I think it's an acoustic, and yeah, it is an acoustic and a drums, and then it's just got this little French horn that comes in towards the end that had these little bits, and it's really nice, really interesting use of that instrument, and it's just it's picked it perfectly to sort of one of those striking songs. He's got his really nice one, Here, There and Everywhere, which is about being so much in love, and then this one's almost like the mirror to that, isn't it? This is like the one where you're not in love anymore and you're falling apart over it. And it's really cool. And I love the way that it ends. There's no cadence at the end of this song. I might even explain this wrong, but a cadence is like a resolution in music terms. Is that you either revert back to the opening chord or the motif, and you finish the song, or you return to that mid song or whatever. That is what a cadence is. But in this song, he kind of finishes on the cliffhanger note, the note that wants to get to the cadence, but it never does. And I think that's a really nice way to end it. A love that should have lasted years, down, down, and you're expecting down, but you don't get it. It ends there. It's really clever, really cool. I love that one as well. Really good song. Like I said, it's like a mirror to that one. Look at Paul go. He's got 4 in slaps. Maybe you'd consider that one Ringo's. But, Paul wrote it. 4 in slaps. Okay. Dr. Robert. He's a new and better man. It's a cool idea. But I just don't think it's that good. It's kind of fun. The guitar work and that's pretty smart. But the idea of the song, it was like this doctor in New York, a real story apparently, this doctor in New York who would sell celebrities or high status clients drugs, hallucinogenics and stuff, which is a cool story. You could certainly make a film about Dr. Robert if that's what his name is, but I just don't think the song comes off that well. Again, it feels like a Rubber Soul song. Maybe I'm being... Rubber Soul's a great album. I'm not saying Rubber Soul's bad. I'm just saying that there are some songs on this that are such a departure from the previous album, and then some songs that just feel like they could be on the last album. And I don't know whether I should be judging it that harshly then off that, but I'm arguing with myself. No, I'm going to put it in filler. I'm going to leave it in filler, and that's where it belongs. It just keeps it moving along, and what I don't like about Dr. Robert as well is that it leads into I Want to Tell You by George. And I Want to Tell You by George is one of the better songs on the album. And I don't like that it's clumped between this sort of John song. The picture's funny though, the sniffing Coca-Cola. But I don't like that it's clumped between these two songs. I wish that George Harrison's I Want to Tell You was next to his other one, Love You Too. But that's all I really got to say about that. It's not that good for me. But tell me down below if you think I'm missing some crazy thing about the instrumental or something like that that's amazing or whatever. But I just don't think it's that great of a song. It's just like a jaunty, fun, upbeat song about this doctor who sells drugs. And that's really it for me. I Want to Tell You is a top banger for sure. I want to tell you, but I don't know why. I don't mind. We can let do. Alright, okay, I need to stop singing so I can actually look at the lyrics. Want to tell you. It's really cool. I like the idea of it. So I think George said himself that he was at a point where he had so much that he wanted to say that he couldn't even like process his thoughts enough to write them down. It's a song about not being able to process what you want to say or having too much to say. And it's kind of framed in a way that it could be seen as a love song towards a girl, but it's also not framed that way. There's a lot to be taken from it because it's almost quite a spiritual song again from George. When I get near you, the games begin to drag me down. Do 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 do. And that's really cool. Again, it's like I don't think it's dissonance is the word I'm looking for here, but there's like. The instrumental fits what he's saying, is that he can't get his words out, and then you've got this kind of cliffhanger-esque instrumental that brings it to this point. The games begin to drag me down, and you're sort of waiting for it to conclude, but it doesn't. And it's alright, I'll make you maybe next time around. But if I seem to act unkind, it's only me and not my mind that is confusing things. It's kind of like, you know, sure he's taken into like Indian philosophies or something by the looks of it, or Buddhist philosophies. I don't really know, but it's really cool. It's like it's one of those songs that you take whatever you want from, really, and it just sounds really good. I love the instrumental on it. But I just wish it was on side A. I wish it was on side A, rather than side B and clumped between these sort of different songs. But although Paul's song about potato dogs is really good, got to get you into my life, and it's like a bottom slaps. Got to get you into my life, ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, bow. So potato dogs are this really amazing food that I found at the shop on the way home. And we'll get you into my life lyrics up. But they have like this hot section. Got to get you into my life lyrics. They got this hot section in the shop that I pass on the way home. And sometimes I go in there after work when I do an early shift, and I'll go grab like a sausage roll or like a steak slice or something. And I kept seeing this potato dog thing, and it's essentially it's a hot dog surrounded with like deep fried potato. I kept seeing it and thinking, man, don't know whether I'd like that. I'm not really bothered with it, but I went there about 2 weeks ago, and they didn't have anything else. They only had the one singular potato dog there. I thought, man, I'm so hungry, I'm just gonna get it. Change my life. Got to get you into my life. And I just remember being there. And just I was alone. I took a ride. I didn't know what I could find there. Another road, you know, if there had been a steak slice, I would have never known. Another road where I could see another kind of man there. Ooh, bum, bum, and I suddenly see you. And that's me after I've found the potato dog, you know. I'm used to them now, and I go there. Ooh, and I suddenly see you. Ooh, I tell you I need you every single day of my life. Make a fun sketch that, you know, this guy just gets really into potato dogs and this song's on about it. But buying them every day. There'll be a scene where he goes into the shop and he's handing over money and taking potato dogs every day. Monday, Tuesday, potato dog. Okay, but yeah, Paul McCartney wrote this song because there was a shop on the way home that he used to go to from the studio, and it sold potato dogs, and he just thought they were amazing. The brass in this is so cool. It's like a proper like dazzling song, a dazzling brass. I mean, in the song, and it just moves around really well. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's not particularly deep or anything. There's no need for it to be. It's just a good song about. It might not even be about a girl in particular. It might not be about potato dogs. I know it's strange to say, but it might just be about anything that he just really wants. You know, it could be a guitar that he's seen. It could be you know, a girl that he wants to be with and stuff. It's just really cool. There's this like urgent need for it, and the song puts it across really well, and the brass works really well with it too. And it's a great song. It's a great song. It's the only song I think on the album that actually has brass, which again would make it maybe feel slightly out of place, but with the way that it's produced and engineered, the whole album as a whole, it sounds completely fine where it is, and that's that one. And we're gonna do And Tomorrow Never Knows, which is well good. I want to put that in slaps too, and I think I will. I think I will put it in slaps. I think I'll put it quite high in slaps actually. I'll put it here because I think that sounds right. I think that feels right because Eleanor Rigby, Love You Too, and Tomorrow Never Knows are so far away. Not so far away, so outside of the box. And they're all such good songs as well. They deserve to be sort of coupled near each other. So Tomorrow Never Knows is so cool. And what I've always thought about it is it almost sounds like something the Chemical Brothers would do, or like Prodigy or Fatboy Slim or something, in that realm. Probably Chemical Brothers is probably the most relevant example there. The way that the drums are, proper like energy, is like drum and bass energy almost. It's just a song so like ahead of its time, and you've got all the different weird. You got like the weird laughing sounds, the backwards guitar. It's like avant-garde, isn't it? It's like so not standard, so not what you'd expect. And I would call it a fully fledged avant-garde song. And it's the way to end the album with this crazy thing that you're like, I've never heard anything like it. The background guitars, the backward guitars in this were like, I'm sure this is the song that they do it on, where they were playing it and they put this guitar line in and then reversed it and then put it back in, and it's like this backward guitar. Then they go, actually, I like the way that guitar sounds backwards. Why don't we learn it backwards and then re-reverse it forwards? So then it will be the riff we want, the backwards riff we want, but it will sound backwards even though we've recorded it now forwards. It's so mind-blowing that you'd even think of something like that. It's just crazy. But, whoever came up with that idea, it's awesome idea, and it comes off real well. The solo sounds really cool. And you've got like the seagull sound at the start. I don't know if it's seagulls. I think it's Paul. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's Paul laughing, and they've just obviously engineered it and messed with it and EQ'd it dead weird and added like effects, and it sounds dead weird. The whole song is so cool, and there's just this constant like flow in the background of weird sounds. It's like you almost don't want to listen too much into it because it just sounds. Some of it sounds demonic, but some of it sounds silly and weird and funny. But it's the drums is one of the biggest pulls on it. That's why I chose this picture of that was the most ferocious picture of Ringo I could find, because he's not a ferocious drummer. He's not like the Chili's drummer or anything like that, or Dave Grohl or anything. He didn't pull any crazy faces. But yeah, it's just really proper good, energetic, powerful drums in this song. It's obviously exacerbated by like the effects like echo and reverb and stuff like that, but as I say, this song in general, it's just really out there, and it sounds like something that would be released in the 90s or early noughties, and it's done in the 60s. It's just really cool. It's so like ahead of their time, and that's them. It just feels like they're really in the zone with this one, and really in a creative flow. Really good, really good. And then at the end here, I've put number 15, Rain, with a sad face, because I always thought, sadly, that Rain was on this album. Rain, which would have had a lovely little spot just below For No One, because Rain is really cool. But no, it's not on the album, to my surprise. I was literally, when I was listening to the album, thinking I can't wait to get to Rain. It's not even on the album. It was recorded during the same sort of sessions, I think. But no, it's not on this. It's on that like other Beatles thing, not the anthology, the sort of 4-disc thing. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, it didn't make it onto this album. Hello Goodbye as well was one of the ones they recorded for this. But again, I don't think that might not have fit perfectly on this one. But Rain would have. Rain was awesome. All right, we're in final synopsis territory. We'll do it. We'll do it. Oh, right. Here, There, and Everywhere. Amazing. Best song on the album, for sure. Just one of the best sort of love songs by the Beatles. Up there with George's Something. Trying to think if John's got sort of one of the best love songs. Probably Doodle Doo 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 In My Life. But it's not really a love song about a particular person. It's like a love song about everyone, isn't it? In my life. But yeah, best song on the album for sure. I mean, Eleanor Rigby could almost topple it, but I just think it's such a Beatles song, but done in such a modern way in terms of like the way they're evolving as a band. Really works, really great. Eleanor Rigby, really. I keep going to say avant-garde because I can't remember Baroque. Quite a Baroque song. Maybe not. I have to actually read what Baroque means. I'm sure it just means classical elements brought into pop, but this isn't really a pop song. It's just like a strings orientated piece, isn't it? And it's really nice lyrics though that you can follow. It's just about this woman that's moving in between these different stories. Really cool. George Harrison's Love You Too was a big risk that like paid off real well. Awesome song. And I just love it. Every time I hear it, I just think it's great. We just spoke about Tomorrow Never Knows. Tomorrow Never Knows is awesome. Like, so ahead of its time. You got some really cool sound effects all the way through that. Not even just the weird stuff in the background, but you got this like it's kind of like an organ sound that punches through some of the verses, and it just has this weird ambient sound to it. And it just, again, you wouldn't expect it to be something that the Beatles would do. For No One, a song about being torn up a bit inside about this breakup, this argument, or whatever it is, but really relatable song, really relatable. That sounded dark, really relatable, because I'm so torn up right now. It's relatable when you're in the scenario like that. I think anyone who's been in a relationship or lost a relationship would understand how it feels to have had a massive argument or not be on speaking terms and stuff like that. It's good. Yellow Submarine, really, really a recognisable song by the Beatles. It's always come across to me much more recognisable than it should be, because the Beatles have so many songs, and everyone everywhere seems to know Yellow Submarine, almost more than like Hey Jude in some places. I'm sure more people have said to me Yellow Submarine than Hey Jude, which is just crazy. But yeah, just goes to show how good Paul is. Paul has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs that are his in banger. Tomorrow Never Knows, I think that's a John, but it doesn't sound like John's done it all on his own, to me. Maybe we'll look that up. I would like to know, actually. Tomorrow Never Knows. Right. Primarily by John Lennon. It was released on August. Inspiration from hallucinogenics, LSD. Beatles recorded and employed musical elements foreign to pop music. Musique concrète. I knew I was using avant-garde, right? Okay. Well, we're not going to read all of this because there's quite a lot here. Previews and influence. Love You Too. Critical reception. Yeah, I'd like to know the critical reception. Response to the lyrics, exhortation to relax and float downstream your road. But how can you relax with the electronic outer space noises often sounding like seagulls? Only Ringo's rock-steady drumming is natural. You read some sort of oral microscope to get the message from this, but it's damned compelling listening. It is compelling. That's a good word. I'll start using compelling. George Martin tied a totem pole when they did this. The band must have had George Martin tied to a totem pole. Oh, that's a bad review. They don't think it's been mixed very well. That they tied George Martin up and said, no, we're doing it on our own. That's hilarious. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, it's a really good song. I love Tomorrow Never Knows. And For No One... Oh, wait, well, hold on. Why have I fallen back here? For No One's great. Yeah, we've been in that position. Yellow Submarine's great. What song's this? The Potato Dogs one. Gotta Get You Into My Life. Got to get potato dogs. Yeah, Gotta Get You Into My Life is just like Paul just writing a good song like he always does. It's just really cool. It's really good brass. I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there. Do 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 do. I Want to Tell You is really cool. I just like these like cliffhanger moments in it. Like it never resolves in the same way that For No One doesn't resolve at the end. This kind of is like a running theme of not resolving what it's trying to do, which works with the lyrics because he can't resolve what he's trying to say. He said, she said, really cool, really funny, like idea. And I love songs like that where it's where the actual song is based in this true story that actually happened and what's been taken from it. In the same way that like Sexy Sadie was about the Marahashi on the White Album. You know, and he takes this real story and just makes a song about it. It's really cool, really cool. I really like She Said. I'm Only Sleeping is fun, interesting song. And as is, And Your Bird Can Sing. Even but John does say himself it's a throwaway, but it's catchy enough for me to make it into banger. John Sniffing Coke, I don't think that's what the song's called. Dr. Robert, fun, but it's not as creative as the rest. Taxman, I just personally, again, go over it, you know, Hector the Tax Collector. I just don't like that it's rich people moaning about paying taxes. You're rich, who cares? But the song itself is fun. It's a good introduction. I just don't. Right. Okay. I'm gonna put that here. Now, it is unfair to put my personal opinions on taxes into my recognition of this song. So it is a banger because it starts the album really well, and it's a good sort of go between from Rubber Soul to this. However, I don't like that it's rich people talking about being taxed. I think it's a bit silly. And then Good Day Sunshine is just the filler, isn't it? Paul wanted the song to sound like, or be in the same mould as a song by The Loving Spoonful with their song Daydream. And he's done a good job of it. It's just not one of the better songs on the album. Is it a banger? Maybe. I don't know. It's catchy enough, isn't it? But I just don't think... Is it as good as I Want to Tell You? Is it as good as I'm Only Sleeping? Is it as good as Your Bird Can Sing? Maybe. No. I think that's enough for me. I think that's fine. Okay. And that's this one done. Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know. There's no point me telling you I'm going to have some Lucas eggs. I'm going to be finishing the video. Yeah, we'll leave it. We'll leave it here. I think that's good. I'm just still torn up about whether I should put that higher. No, I think it's fine where it is. I think that's the way to do it. I think that makes me feel better about it. Dr. Robert, drop bottom. Bottom filler. Wow, I need to stop saying stuff. Bottom banger, bottom filler. Bottom slaps. But yeah, I used to sort of rephrase how I say those things, I think, moving forward. But cool, that was Revolver. Tune in next time. We're going to do either a Bob Dylan or we're going to do the fantastic Cold Fact by Sixto Rodriguez. And I'll probably listen to that directly after this and see if it'll be worth it. I think it will because there's some interesting stuff on there. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.